Amy, come join us.
Here we go.
Hey everybody, you want to engage in some
Hello.
idle chit chat while people
Start
roll
logging
on?
on.
Yeah.
But do you want to first show
Yeah.
off our shirts? Which you made it so high.
I know,
I'm on my tippy toes.
but that way you can always pan down. So these are the Calling Texas Powered by People shirts that Christy Gomez Duffy designed. And as you can tell, if you're familiar with, your vinyl rock and roll history, this design originally appeared on an Elvis Presley album, was appropriated later by The Clash on London Calling, and is now being used by Powered by People. And if you want to get one of these amazing Calling Texas shirts, you can join us this evening. We've got a phone bank. Cynthia Fuentes Cano has, it's right there.
So bad at that.
No, I'm pointing at it right there. There's a pinned link right there. If you join us tonight, you will be calling the Texas voters who will decide the outcome of the state house races that can produce a Democratic majority in the state house for the first time in 20 years. And if you, like we, are pissed off about the voter suppression, including the latest effort on the part of Republican Governor Greg Abbott to close down absentee ballot collection sites throughout the 254 counties of Texas to make it that much harder for people to vote in the most voter suppressed state in the union, then get on the phones with me tonight. It's not enough to be pissed off. It's not enough to tweet your outrage. It's not enough to post something on Facebook. It's not enough to even be on this live stream. You've got to do something more. We've got to do something more. And Amy and I will be making phone calls with you. You can join us tonight, calling Texas voters to put a new Democratic majority in the state house at this link right here. And then if we do our job and we help these Democrats get elected to the state house, we'll also up ballot help more Democrats win congressional races. Up ballot from there will help MJ Hagar defeat John Cornyn, Trump's lackey in the Senate, to have a Democratic majority in the U.S. Senate, so that we can also help Joe Biden win the 38 electoral college votes in Texas. Now, a Democratic nominee for president has not done this since Jimmy Carter did it in 1976. It's been 44 years. Amy, how old were you in 1976?
I wasn't born yet.
You weren't even born yet. You were -5 years in 1976. So this is when Amy was -5. That's the last time that a Democratic nominee won the electoral college votes of Texas. So look, if you're pissed about Greg Abbott further restricting, suppressing, intimidating, and excluding the vote in Texas, think about a city like Houston, which is in a county like Harris. Harris County has more people in it than does the entire state of Nevada or the entire state of Colorado. And the Harris County Elections Department had set up satellite absentee ballot drop-off locations. It's a massive county in population. It's a massive county in size. You may be 88 years old and you may not have access to a car, and you may want to walk or take a short bus ride to one of these satellite drop-off locations. Governor Abbott today, for those of you who haven't heard the word, by executive order has closed down all of the absentee ballot drop-off satellite locations at the same time that Donald J. Trump is slowing down the U.S. mails, making it a little bit more precarious to send in that ballot by mail. That's why people wanted to drop them off at the satellite collection locations. This is voter suppression on steroids, and it's happening right now in Texas. This is in addition to the most onerous voter ID laws in the country, to 750 polling place closures over the last 8 years, to the single greatest racial gerrymander in the United States, bar none, to the effect that we, until 2018, ranked 50th in voter turnout, dead last, not for love of democracy or not for lack of love of democracy, but because we were drawn that way. We were designed this way. It was set to exclude black and brown voters in particular. So if you are angered by this and you want to turn that anger into action, and thinking about The Clash and the London Calling album, remember the song Clamp Down, where he talks about anger can be power. Turn that anger into power in memory of Joe Strummer, and to successfully confront Greg Abbott, and connect with the Texas voters who will decide the outcome of these critically important elections by clicking on this link, RSVPing, and joining us at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. for those of us out here in El Paso, Texas. And folks, again, on the presidential election, if you join us for the phone bank tonight, not only will you be helping these Texas State House candidates win these important elections and win a majority and begin to dismantle this infrastructure of suppression that I just described. But we will send voters and votes up the ballot to Joe Biden. And what that means is that on election night, November 3rd, Texas could come in for Biden, could come in for a Democrat for the first time in 44 years. Why is that important? Even if Biden is leading in Pennsylvania, even if Biden ultimately wins the state of Pennsylvania, the returns from Pennsylvania won't come in for days, a week, maybe weeks, and prove to me with a straight face that Donald Trump will not use the interim, those days, week, or weeks, to illegally claim victory, or at a minimum try to create chaos and confusion in the result. We will have, for sure, a constitutional crisis on our hands in this country unless we bring Texas home on the night of November 3rd. Now, Texas didn't expand mail-in balloting. It's one of 4 states that refused to do that in a voter suppressive move, by the way. Texas did not expand mail-in balloting. It's one of 4 states that didn't do that, which means that there will be fewer mail-in ballots to count on election night. And Texas is one of those states that begins counting those mail-in ballots early. So we will have early vote totals at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on November 3rd, all of them. We'll have the election day voting on that same night, and we'll have the vast majority of mail-in ballots counted. In other words, you know where we are in Texas on November 3rd. You don't have to wait days or weeks or maybe months to get the answer. I know that Kate and Cynthia are texting me, but
Your timer just went off, just FYI.
Oh, will you grab those out while I finish this screed? We're baking some cookies here. You got it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. By the way, if you needed any additional inducement, given the fact that your democracy is literally under direct attack right now, and if we don't answer the call, we will lose this forever, for every generation that follows us. If that's not enough, Amy and I are baking cookies right now, and we are going to, here, let me tilt down.
To be fair, Beto's baking cookies.
To be fair, I'm baking the cookies, but you're helping me. You're testing them.
In this moment.
Yeah. But if you needed any additional inducement, I'm going to give away 2 batches of triple chocolate chip, home-baked, O'Rourke Kitchens produced chocolate chip cookies. And we're gonna send those to 2 lucky phone bankers tonight. Let's see how many RSVPs we have. 665 RSVPs when we started this live stream.
Wow.
Kate said 5 signed up, then 12 signed up. We need more signups. We'll bake more cookies. We'll give away some of these amazing Calling Texas. Amy, will you model that for us real quick? Yeah, that shirt could be yours tonight if you join us on this phone bank. I won't give one away to everyone who joins because we already have 677 people who've signed up, but we will give a few of these away to lucky winners. You don't need the inducement. You love this country. You want to save America. And the only way to do it is through Texas, folks. I mean, God bless you in Pennsylvania, Florida, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota even. We're counting on you. You got to come through for us. But it is simply not enough. We need Texas. And we need to show up for Texas. Those of us in Texas, and you can make calls for us if you live in another state or another part of the world. All you have to do is click on that link right there that I just tapped on with my finger. Watch that, Amy. And you will be RSVP'd, and you'll join us tonight at 6:30. I will be making phone calls with you. I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm on every single one of these phone banks. In fact, we even bake cookies for the phone banks, right,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yeah.
We're all in. We're
So,
all in for
Beto,
democracy.
There's a few questions. What do you need to be able to phone bank?
Well, you need a phone. It is nice also to have an iPad if you have an extra device in your house so that you can zoom in and watch all the other people who are phone banking. And then you do need some kind of device, a laptop or a tablet, to log into a dialer. The dialer loads up the next name and number that we call. And why don't we
You want to
roll
okay.
act. What's it called?
Role play?
Role play. Why don't we role play right now? New York says hi and California says hi. New York, California, Texas says
And
hello.
we're at 19 signups.
Way to go.
Yeah. What's your goal here? How many do you want to get?
And just to give you an idea of what the cookie can look like, this is what we're talking about right here. You see these nice brown crispy edges right here, kind of the flat profile so that the chips really pop out. Not a lot of excess flour to contend with. And then the back, just kind of a golden brown. You can almost see through it. There's a little bit of translucence. That's about as perfect as a chocolate chip cookie gets. I will not send you this one because I put my hands all over it, but I will send you some freshly baked chocolate chip cookies if you sign up with us tonight and if you are lucky enough to have your name drawn. Answer the phone. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Amy O'Rourke?
Who's calling?
Sorry, I should have introduced myself. My name is Beto O'Rourke. Maybe we're related. And I'm calling with Powered by People. And I'm calling because we're trying to help turn out Texas in the most important election of our lifetimes. Amy, are you planning to vote in this November 3rd election?
Well, I'm thinking about it.
Well, if you were to vote, are you more likely to vote for Democrats or are you more likely to vote for Republicans?
I'm definitely going to vote for a Democrat.
Well, let me tell you about a woman who's running for state rep in your district. Her name is Joanna Katnack. She also ran in 2018, came so close to winning in that year. In fact, lost by less than 230 votes. She's a big supporter of public education and school teachers at this very difficult time. She wants to expand Medicaid in a state that's seen nearly 16,000 die of COVID and is the least insured state in the country. And she wants to make sure that the Texas state legislature confronts climate change before it's too late. Amy, can we count on your vote for Joanna Katnack on November 3rd or when early voting begins on October 13th?
Yes, and I'm so glad you told me this because I was only focused on the presidential. So I'm really glad you called.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's the phone call right there.
And you'll get a script, so you don't have to come up with all of that on your own.
You don't have to memorize that. We will introduce you to the candidates that you're going to be calling for. And really, there's a script in the dialer that takes you through every single stage of the conversation. You're going to get some really nice people like Amy who are happy that you called.
Do you want to do another one where it's not so nice?
Okay. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, my name's Beto.
Beto?
Yeah, Beto O'Rourke.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
you've heard it.
Give me a break.
Really? Well, tell me how you feel.
Are you going to come take my AK-47?
No, I'm not going to come take your AK-47. Actually, I called you to talk about these important upcoming... Wow. How could I have handled that conversation better, Amy?
I mean, they're just going to go like that.
Yeah, sometimes you're going to get hung up on. Sometimes you're going to get hung up on. Sometimes you're going to interrupt somebody in their dinner. Sometimes you're going to reach somebody who does not want to talk to you. That's life. And to be clear, these are not easy. These are not convenient. These aren't even necessarily fun phone calls to make. They just happen to be very necessary. And in the midst of COVID, one of the only ways that we can talk to and listen to voters and really reach those who are going to decide the outcomes of state house races, the majority in the state legislature ahead of a redistricting year in 2021, the U.S. Senate race against John Cornyn, congressional races. I mean, there are like 8 or 9 or 10 competitive congressional races in Texas. What the hell? That's never happened before, but it's happening right now. And then if you want Joe Biden to be your president, and maybe even more importantly for a lot of you, if you do not want Donald Trump to be your president in 2021, we need Texas to come through. And the only way that happens is if we reach those voters who will decide the outcome.
Okay, I didn't set the timer, so can you look?
Okay, yeah, you monologue for a little bit.
Okay, I thought you might all find this kind of interesting. The phone is propped up almost above my height, and so I just wanted to show you what is holding all of this up. It is our stack of cookbooks right there. I just thought that's pretty funny.
That's about as much use as those cookbooks get.
That is so not true. Lately, I have really been digging some of the new cookbooks.
Tell me what some of your favorite recipes have been.
Well, what I made last night with the chickpeas and corn and chipotle sauce and the taco.
That was
one of those cookbooks.
That was really good. I thought you just dreamt that up.
Yeah, no.
I thought that was something that you came up with. Keep going, Amy. I want to make sure I don't mix. I've got some gluten-free cookies and some gluten cookies, and I can't mix the two, right? That would be very dangerous.
That would be dangerous.
I'm getting these gluten cookies out of the way. How many signups do we have, folks?
So we're
we are 5 away from 700 signups tonight. again, for those of you who are joining us a little bit late, right here is a link. If you click on that, Cynthia Fuentes-Cano just posted it. If you click on that, you can sign up for a phone bank tonight. And on that phone bank, we will be reaching out to voters in competitive state house districts in Texas. Who cares about the state house, right? Like, I'm all about the president of the United States. I'm all about U.S. Senate. Why, Amy, should I care about the state house?
There are so many reasons to care about the state house, particularly in this upcoming legislative session.
Tell me about it, or tell them, because I'm going to have to scoop in the next balls of cookie dough.
So the electoral maps will be redrawn across the state, and so if anybody wants to have any impact on how gerrymandered our state is, it's incredibly important that we flip the Texas House so that we have some Democrats influencing that process.
Well said.
Yeah, that was right.
That was really good.
There you go. Okay, 697, we're 3 away.
Amy, talk about some policy issues that you care about that are decided at the state house level.
Education issues, healthcare. Texas was one of the few states that did not approve the expansion of healthcare and Medicaid in our state. So if we can flip the Texas House, that can be something that can be addressed.
Absolutely.
Hey, come say hi real quick.
Ulysses, you want to say hi? Will you tell people to join the phone bank tonight?
Join the phone bank tonight.
Yeah.
Are you going to help phone bank?
No.
Come on.
He's like, join the phone bank tonight so that my parents will be distracted and I can get on that computer. And,
Henry was helping me with the phone bank.
was he?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, Henry was listening in to the conversation, and so he was clicking the different responses in on the platform that said, yes, you're talking to the correct person. Yes, you're going to support the candidate, and so he was having a ton of fun with that. But I couldn't get him to actually make the call, which I thought would have been awesome. So, Ulysses.
Hey, any questions, Amy, that you can answer?
Okay, I'm going to take a look.
And then, folks, we're going to wind down in about 5 minutes, but we'll take 5 minutes worth of questions, and we do want to get over 700 signups, which we are so close to doing. Will you set a timer for 6.5?
Yep. Ulysses, are you leaving right now?
All right. Let me tell you. Maybe just water. Let me tell you a story from phone banking on Monday. That was the last day that I phone banked. So making phone calls, you get some folks again who are happy to know that you're calling and appreciate the personal touch. You get others who aren't excited to hear from you, and then you're talking to voters who may be undecided. And I know that a lot of you watching this who may have made up your mind about this election wonder, what in the hell more do you need to make up your mind about this race? The kids in cages, the racism, the 23 murdered in El Paso, Texas, the 200 and almost 10,000 dead in the United States, the 16,000 killed by COVID in Texas, all because of the ineptitude and the failure in leadership from Donald Trump and Greg Abbott and the Republican enablers in the Senate, in the House, and in the State House in Texas. Why isn't this obvious to you, right? Well, let me tell you from these phone banks, I'm talking to a lot of people in a state where the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, who may not have the luxury to get as involved as other people get in politics. They may be working their third job for the day. I remember one of the guys I called in the Rio Grande Valley said, hey, I'm at work. He was at a Circle K. I really don't have a lot of time to be on the phone with you. And he said, I am so busy trying to make ends meet right now. I really haven't had a chance to look at this stuff. And a position being undecided that I might be somewhat dismissive of if I had not listened to him, I better understood. I'll tell you this, he also told me that no one and no campaign and no candidate had reached out to him ever in his life. I was the first phone call he ever received. And so even though it was a brief conversation, even though he was undecided, he knew that I was supporting Democrats up and down the ballot. And he knew some of the reasons that I was supporting them. And I've got to think he's more likely to vote now, A, and B, he's more likely to vote for Democrats. That's how effective these phone calls are. Last comment because Cynthia says I've got to sign off now. And we're at 708 signups. You all are my heroes. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the phone bank. There's still time to sign up. It's the link right here. We're giving away cookies tonight, and we're giving away these great Calling Texas t-shirts. Last anecdote. So Monday night, I'm on the phone bank, and a young man answers, and I can hear his son, who's 6 months old. I can just hear a baby cooing and making noises in the background. And I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm interrupting you." And he said, "No, that's okay." He said, "I have my 6-month-old in my arms." And I said, "Well, that's great. Is this your first kid?" He says, "It is." And I said, "It's amazing when they still love you at that age, and you know it's a more complicated relationship when they get to be the age of my kids in middle school and in an elementary." And we kind of laughed about that. So I told him why I was calling, asked if he was going to vote in this next election, made the pitch for the state house candidate in his area and for Democrats up and down the ballot. And I asked him what was important to him. And he said, "You know what? Healthcare is the most important thing to me, and that's why I'm going to be voting for Democrats." He said, "We just had our son 6 months ago, and I now understand just how involved and expensive and frightening that process can be." And then he also told me this. He said, "I just lost my dad to COVID." So he said, I understand healthcare from really both ends, from bringing a new life into the world and from losing the life of my father in a state that's lost 16,000 people." And he said that this election is really, literally life and death for me and for my family. It was such a powerful conversation. I never would have had that if I had not been on that phone bank, if I had not had the luck of drawing his name and his number and connecting with him. And I hope that our connection also produced for him a further determination to vote and maybe share with others in his family, in the community, in the neighborhood, that this election is critically important and that there's an army out there powered by people who are calling the voters who will decide the outcome of it. So join us in this army tonight. Click on the link that's at the bottom of your screen. If you miss the link by the time that I sign off in the next 60 seconds, you can go to poweredxpeople.org, poweredxpeople.org, and you can sign up. We also have a voter registration phone bank on Saturday. Since the deadline for voter registration in Texas is October 5th, it will be our last major voter registration push. We'd love for you to be a part of that as well. And you can go to poweredbypeople.org, by spelled with an X, to sign up for that. So
You're up to 713.
we're up to 713. We exceeded our goal. I am so grateful. We would still take more if you want to join us. We have capacity for a couple hundred more callers if you want to join us. Either way, I'm grateful for your time. And a reminder, the reason that we flipped on this Facebook Live right now is we saw the news about our Republican governor, Greg Abbott, shutting down the satellite absentee ballot collection sites all over the 254 counties of Texas. The most voter suppressed state in the union just became more suppressive today. And our response to that is to either throw up our hands and give up, or simply be outraged, or to take action. We are choosing to take action. Let's get more people registered to vote, more people turned out to vote, and let's make sure that we win these elections up and down the ballot. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on the phone bank tonight. Much love from El Paso. Bye-bye.